I'm gonna go ahead and wait for everything to load up real quick. Get my audio working this time, and I'm not messing up again like last time. Just wait for it to hit on Twitch, yeah, YouTube, real quick, man. There it is on YouTube. All right, so I'm very sweaty. I woke up at like 6 in the morning today, you guys. I actually only have one job today, so I don't have to clock in until 8 o'clock, which is great. So I decided to use the extra free time that I had in my day to go to the gym, play a little bit of basketball, get a little exercise in. Today, you guys, you are not a queen of queen. Let's stop this king of queen talk, you guys. This is going to be, before I actually get into it, this is actually going to be a very unpopular opinion. This is going to rub people the wrong way, but I truly mean it in like, I truly mean what I'm about to say in the best light ever, you guys. Like, I know everyone wants to do good, everyone wants to, change their life and things like that. And so I want to talk about this real quick. I was talking to my grandmother about, Kevin Samuels, actually, right? I was telling her that I was just talking to her. She was like, "Hey, how you doing, Mickey? Hey," everybody, they call me Mickey in my family. When I was a kid, when I was a baby, they put a Mickey Mouse costume on myself and told me I looked like Mickey. So here's the situation about it. So I told my grandmother, right? I was like, "Look, I'm working all of these jobs. I'm really tired. I got a lot of stuff that I'm working on, and I just feel like a lot of girls just don't appreciate the hard work that an average person makes. You know what I mean? It's like you have to make 200, 300,000, whatever. And I feel like even like as a black man, right? And I love black women. Even when I'm going on my cousin. Let me use my cousin as an example. My cousin, he's like a bubbling rap star out here in the DFW area, and he's got the tats and everything. He's got the chains and stuff like that. I make way more money than him. I make like probably twice as much cash, but it's not even about that. Girls, like when we go out together, right? Obviously, I mean, I got pink hair and stuff like that, but even before I had the pink hair and shit like that, you guys, I could see the difference that black girls like would treat him compared to someone like me, right? And I don't care. First off, I really don't care because I've already made my peace with this. I don't like hood chicks. I've been there, done that. There's nothing ever really good that comes out of being with a hood girl. It really ain't. So if a girl likes that shit, if she's college educated, I'll probably try a little bit more or something like that. But if she's just a hood chick, it ain't even worth it. Like, I don't even feel offended at all. Telling my grandmother, I'm like, man, Kevin Samuels was right about this. A lot of girls just don't know how to appreciate a man that's actively building. They want the rap star that more than likely is gonna be staying in the streets until he's in his 40s, 50s, still with the same bullshit, which is cool. I feel like in the hood, if you a hood person, you don't have to grow up. You excused from growing up. You can maintain being a grown child and it be quote unquote acceptable. But then there's the group of people that want to complain about, oh, men and women aren't growing up, men and whatever. So it's this a dichotomy that's working, that's at play right there, right? So continuing forward with that, I was telling my grandma, I was like, you know what? And she's like, don't you ever mention Kevin Samuels. If you're ever trying to date a woman, don't ever mention Kevin Samuels. I'm like, man, fuck that. I'm gonna say it because you either gonna like me or you're not. It's the same thing with my pink hair. If you're gonna judge me, if you think I'm homosexual because I got pink hair, that's you. That's your fault, right? If I like whatever if you don't have the opportunity, if you can't get out of your own biases to talk to another person and to understand where they're coming from, to truly dig deep on some certain things, you are limiting yourself. And this goes into play with this king and queen shit. People want to talk about, particularly the black community. I'm gonna tag the black community on this shit, you guys. Particularly in the black community, want to talk about being kings and queens. We are the furthest thing from fucking kings and queens. Like it's almost an insult at this point when I hear people say king or queen. It sounds nice. It's supposed to be nice. It's supposed to be something that's uplifting, but you are not doing anything that a king or queen does. Let's go to Game of Thrones. I work from home 15 hours a day. I have on TV Game of Thrones repeat. Even if you're not the king or the queen, with the nobility, with the people, what's so important on Game of Thrones is your family name, your legacy, power. You don't have to be a king or queen to be living great, to be living amazing, right? Not to mention, what I noticed was really interesting about the Game of Thrones is that we're only focusing on the lives of the nobility, right? The lords, Milady, Lord Stark, Lord John, Lord Sansa, Lady Sansa, whatever. You know what I mean? We're always focusing on them. Rarely do we see the poor people. It's if the poor people rise up and shit like that. And we never we think that that's all the way in the past. Yeah, it was in the past, several centuries ago, but it hasn't. It's only transformed a little bit. And so, I'm gonna put this all into full circle real quick. America's one of the richest countries in the world. We are peasants for the most part. If you're making under $100,000, you're not a quote unquote peasant, but you're still on the lower end of the spectrum of financial. I mean, we could pull up the stats, right? What they say? What's the stats? Income statistics for the United States. What are the income statistics? The median household income is $67,000. 50%. That's 50%. The 50% threshold is $67,000. If you're making over $67,000, if you're making $70,000 and above, right? If you're making it by yourself, this is the household. Just the household. If you're making $70K by yourself, you're making more than two people put together. 50% of America, over $70K. So if you're making over $100K, you guys, by yourself, how many people are making $100K a year? 21 million people in the US, 21 million people. How many people live in America? 2022. 332 million. 332 million. Let's do some math real quick. I know this is probably boring and shit like that, but this is what you got to do. 332 divided by 21. Wait, no, hold on. 332 21 times 100 equals 2100. 2100, that's right, divided by 332, 6.3. You are 6.3% of the population if you're making over $100,000 a year. You are 6% of the population. So the reason why this matters is because when you're making $100,000 a year, you guys, you are the top 6% of America. Kings and queens, right? In order to make that $100,000, what do you got to do? Long story short, man, fuck all this shit. Long story short, fuck this king or queen shit. You are not doing the shit that a king and queen should be doing. Kings and queens do the things. We always see the kings and queens doing what they want to do, whatever. That's once they've gotten the position. But when you don't have the position, you can't afford to do this shit that you want to do all the time. You've got to be able. The purpose of being a king or queen is to do the things that is going to help the greater good of the people. Being a leader isn't always doing what you want to do. And this in the black community and shit like that, we talk about kings and queens and shit. We are not doing king and queen shit. First off, we don't care about learning and educating yourself. This is exactly what the nobility did. They learned about the game. They learned about the system. They learned about the people around them. They dealt with people. They did the shit they didn't want to do. Kings and queens, nowadays, kings and queens, the black kings and queens and shit like that, they just do whatever the fuck they want. No education. No regard for manners or anything like that. It's fucking stupid. It's stupid. You know why? Because that mentality of this king and queen shit is super inflated. When you have a super inflated ego, it's hard for you to recognize your fallacies. It's hard to recognize where you can grow. It's hard to take criticism without getting offended. When you can't take criticism, when you can't have it, look at Daenerys Targaryen, right? When you got all these advisors around you, they're telling you this. They truly believe in you. There are some people around you that truly believe in you. When you ignore their advice, what starts to happen is you start to whittle down their trust in you. You start to become that much more cynical. You start to become that much more fucking self-absorbed. And this is what the issue with so many black men and women are nowadays. One of the other things I want to talk about is when the king and queen shit right here, people got married for political reasons. People got married for power reasons. People nowadays, they just do whatever the fuck they want. Marriage has no merit at all. And you know why? It's because men and women have lost sight of it. People want to marry for love, which isn't a bad thing, but love is fickle. Love is fucking fickle. We are fucking animals. People don't want to admit that. The majority of people are animals. Hey Joe, what's up? How you doing, man? Yo, good morning. It's almost 8 in the morning. I can't believe you up right now. But anyways, the people are so fickle. Here's the deal. I'll tell women right here. Women, right? If girls were to accept that guys wanted to and are more than likely gonna want to have sex with other women, as long as a woman can admit it and be okay with it and put limitations to it. And as the guy, you can limit yourself and you can compromise. You guys compromising. Family is everything. I'll tell you one thing real quick. When I was in high school, I played football. My high school had 3 families. 3 families that were very famous, right? And the reason why is because Sabatins, Washington. Oh, actually, all 3 of them went to the NFL. You just got back from the gym, but huge supporter. Keep doing your thing, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Did you reach out to me on Xbox? Actually, somebody reached out to me on Xbox. I was working, so I couldn't respond, but I appreciate it, man. You came back from the gym. Good stuff. See, that's the type of stuff we like to see. Keep working hard. Here's another thing too, real quick. Exercise, health, eating right, it elongates your youth. It's gonna take a long time to get the resources, to get the things that we want, to build the community we want. When you actually build it, because it will come, you don't want to be all fragile. You don't want to be old. Nothing against fat people, but you don't want to be like super fat. You want to be able to enjoy the things that you've built. You barely be on Xbox? Word. That's good, man. And so I think it's extremely important to get your health together and to build a life on it. If you're in your 20s, if you're in your 30s, man, you want to live as long as possible so that the stuff that you built, you can, experience that. But anyways, that's a time for a different story. My high school had the Kaufmans, the Washingtons, and the Sappingtons. The Kaufmans, 2 of the Kaufmans went to the NFL. And Chase Kaufman and was it Carson Kaufman? You can actually look them up. You can actually look them up on Google. Look them up. The Kaufmans, and they went to Raymore Peculiar, Missouri. That was the high school I went to. Raymore Peculiar, Missouri, and Peculiar fucking Missouri. You guys, it was crazy. Sappingtons. We had a couple of the Sappington brothers actually go to the NFL as well, and then the Washingtons. The Washingtons were the black family, right? The only black people in the family that 2 of them both went to the NFL actually. Devin Washington was in my grade, and he didn't live up to the expectations of the other the Washingtons, which isn't a bad thing. But what I'm here to tell you is that the family names have so much value around it, right? And it's something like that. It just feels special when like your family name holds merit. We, the kings and queens of today, don't give a fuck about family. What I mean, they don't give a fuck about family is there's no long-term thinking, right? I was watching DJ Academics and talking about Future selling his publishing rights, right? It's so interesting. Listening to the music game is so similar to the real estate game, you guys. I have my loan license. I'm a licensed loan originator in the DFW area. I'm halfway finished with getting my real estate license, so I'll be able to write loans as well as be able to represent you in purchasing of a property. Blah 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 blah. Whatever. What I'm trying to tell you is that the music game is very similar to real estate, right? And these are the things, right? DJ Academics is talking about, oh my God, everyone's thinking that you selling your publishing rights mean you're broke. It's not the smart thing to do. Broke people talk about, oh, you shouldn't get into credit. Broke people, and it's not about how much money you have in your wallet, right? I'm not talking about broke. Broke is a fucking mindset. How you can get out of your mindset of being broke is by understanding what actually holds merit. What holds water in the world. What holds water in the world? Being tough, being a real nigga, being a real bitch. You know what I'm saying? That shit don't hold much. It does to a certain extent. But it's like, how far are you willing to sell yourself for some shit like that, right? Let's go down that route. Let's say you want to be a real nigga or a real bitch or whatever. What's gonna happen? You could pretend as a guy, anyways. You go down the P&B Rock route, XXXTentacion route, motherfucking who else got killed? Name it. You know what I mean? Girls, they just like always in history, aren't really faced with physical danger as much unless they put themselves in that type of situation, right? Why the fuck are you in the trap as a girl? Fuck that shit, man. Get out of that stuff, man. I just saw a bunch of people get indicted for the PPP loan scams. Guess who's mostly gonna get rounded up for that shit? Guys. If I were a girl nowadays times, man, I hate to say it, but I just use the shit out of a lot of dudes. I'd use the shit a lot of dudes because there's so many guys that are just not thinking like quote unquote kings and queens. You call yourself a king and queen, but you don't act like one. It's like going into a job. You ain't a manager if you didn't earn the right to be that. If you don't talk and act like a manager, people ain't gonna treat you as such. It's like it's like who is it like? It's like that group of friend, right? That one friend or something who always tries too hard to be something he's not, right? But you, even if you try to, you want to tell him like, look, chill out a little bit, man. You doing too much right now. They get offended by that shit, right? They get offended by it, then they double down on that activity. That's fucking. It's not insanity. It's close to insanity, but you don't want to be that. You don't want to be so high up on your high horse that you can't accept criticism from other people. This king queen shit. Learn about what it means to actually be a noble first. Everyone wants to immediately be a king or queen. That shit's stupid. That shit don't even make sense. If your family ain't one of the fucking Rockefellers, the family ain't one of the... Those are the kings and queens. And nowadays, you can become nobility by working hard, by doing this. The influencers, social media influencers, stuff like that, we can dare say that as in these times, they're closer to nobility, but not real nobility. They're more of like the actors and the... Let's go back to like Leonardo da Vinci times, right? Nowadays we love Michelangelo. We herald a lot of these artists that were back then. They were commissioned by rich people, right, to be who they are, and they made their riches creating art. Nowadays, art isn't as profitable of a sector. What it's transitioned and transformed into is like YouTube, social media. People are and rapping and music and singing and like that. Those are the new, and actors. Those are the new, like, rich people in that acting field, right? But just like how DJ Academics was talking about, why is Lil Baby? Why are these other rappers? They're always doing this shit for the billionaires. They looking like clowns. They're like jesters. That's because that's what they are. The real true nobility are the people that are building structures for everyday people to live off of. Look, I don't know if you've seen Pole Dark, Game of Thrones, something like that. These people own shit that people do every day, right? If you're making music, yeah, you'll make your cash, you'll make it whatever. But if you don't have the mindset, the money that these social media influencers, the money that these rappers and singers are having, it will go down the drain because they're not teaching themselves how to use that cash. When you have a certain amount of money, though, for the most part, you almost are never going to go broke. But it's about that family name, man. It's about that family name. And it's like, how are you going to maintain that family name and keep it going down legacies, like transitioning through centuries? Most people, what they build in this lifetime, when they die, that's it. It's it. Their legacy is gone because their kids don't know how to. They didn't teach their kids or anything like that. Like, see, here's the district. Like, I saw Lil Baby, right? Lil Baby bought his son a $50,000 chain or some shit. Why is it never making the news that, how about Lil Baby is teaching his son the importance of credit? His Lil Baby is teaching his son now. Obviously, his son is like not even 10, but this is the shit I'm talking about. I'm actually going to make a video about this guy. His name is Steve Hodgdon. He's teaching how to buy real estate investment notes. I'm not selling no course or anything like that. I'm not. I swear on everything. I probably would never ever sell no courses or anything like that. I'm simply just trying to tell people and teach people like the things that really matter. How you can come up. I don't come from anything, man. Nothing. But you can become something. When you learn the game and shit like that. And this king queen mindset shit is just, it's just so. I love it actually. When someone calls themselves a king or queen, right? They're making less than 200,000, 300,000. It's not always about the money. But if I see where their mind is at and they call themselves a king or queen, I'm like, yes. Call yourself a king or queen. Keep spreading this bullshit to other people. Because when other people are distracted, it makes less competition to get the things that truly matter. I'll say that one more time. When more people are distracted, it creates less competition for the things that are truly valuable. I love it. I love the world and how there's so much distraction, there's so much bullshit, there's so many false idols. Because the masses With the internet we have on this phone, what you can do with your life, your family, is immeasurable, infinite. And if everyone is focusing on bullshit, YouTubers, Instagram, whatever, that creates less competition for the things that can truly build wealth for you. Do you know of Dane Calloway? I don't. Who is that? Let me look them up. Dane Calloway. Who is Dane Calloway and what is Dane Calloway? Is he a YouTuber? Looks like it. I see an American educator, Black Wall Street, false heroes, false hopes. He looks like makes mangas, right? Oh wow. How do you tell a child that Santa Claus is just a myth, the tooth fairy does not exist, or that a bunny and its eggs have no correlation with the story? Let me see if I can pull it up on the screen. Let me see, my bad. So is this the guy you're talking about? Teaches about the history of our people. Huh. Yeah, I had to check him out. Let's see here. Dan Calloway. And he... See, and this is another thing too, man. Like, this is something that I just feel like is so... I understand buying black and shit like that, but why the fuck is this book $35? Why is this book $31? Why is this book $35? Black people want to put premiums in how we are superior. Just opened my eyes a couple days ago, and yes, they hate him. The teachers of history. Here's the issue, man. I wish you would make it a little bit cheaper. You know why? How is this book 16? Is literally half the price of what that book is charging right there. Half the price for that book. Half the price. And I will tell you, this book will change your life more than anything else in the world. I'm almost guaranteeing it. At least it will open your eyes to some shit. Another book, $12. Come on, man. See, this is the thing I was just talking about. I see and I love that black people, and I'm not trying to. Thank you so much for bringing him up, Ajo. You put me on this book too, the 48 Laws, bro. I hope you read it. I hope you love it, man. And watch Game of Thrones. Read the 48 Laws of Power, and while you're reading the 48 Laws of Power, watch Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is one of the only shows that can truly show you 48 Laws of Power in action, in like a realistic sense, and it's entertaining too. 48 Laws of Power, Game of Thrones, your life will completely I'm telling you, man. But let me get on this real quick. Why? Like, this is cool. This is great. Even Jordan Peterson, right? Even his fucking like 12,000 page Maps of Meaning book isn't even that much, I'm sure. Like $48. $48 to $50 to buy. This is actually a lot of money. It's actually a lot of money, I'm not gonna lie. How many pages is this book? Let me see here. Jesus Christ. 564 pages. Maps of Meaning, $50. $14 more and you'll be able to get a book from a highly accredited PhD person named Jordan Peterson. I'm not saying that this guy doesn't have amazing stuff. I'll actually probably buy it. There's no reason why it should be $35. There's no reason why it should be worth $35. Like, come on, man. I understand that a lot of these other publishing deals, like 48 Laws of Power and stuff like that, they got. What's another good book? What I'm reading right now, How to Win Friends and Influence People. How to Win Friends and Influence People, $15. The One Thing, $13. Principles by Ray Dalio, $15. Come on, man. There's no point. I'm sorry. Do not mean to shit on him. I don't mean to shit on him, but there's an issue with the black community in charging premiums for the products they create, and it be less quality. Charge more for less quality with things. As black people, we need to start making things much more accessible. We need to look at the competition and charge those prices for the most part. My girlfriend, right, at the time, right, the girlfriend, she was doing making jewelry. She makes jewelry. She goes to the Bishop Arts District and she creates jewelry, right? She sells her pieces for a very good price. But she's noticed that Chanel, Baccarat, Cartier, all these other and even some social media influencers are selling the exact same bracelet for triple, quadruple the price that she's selling it for. Can she sell for those prices? Possibly, yes. Does it make it any different? The products that these other people are selling compared to her shit? Probably not. But the difference is the clout. The difference is the notoriety, the reputation. He doesn't have the reputation. I mean, honestly, let me stop hating real quick, because he got how many reviews on this? 144, I believe. That's actually amazing. That's fantastic. That is really good. I've never heard of this guy. Let's go to YouTube. Dan Calloway. Oh wow, he's got half a million subscribers.
To watch.
Okay. Huh. AJ, you just put me onto something. I'll have to check him out. I have to listen to him. I'm hoping that it's some really good stuff, though. It's just the one thing I dislike about what's going on about the. Let me not talk about it. I don't know anything about him. So I'm not gonna say anything about that. But I'm just hoping that we get past this. Unpopular opinions, you guys. My name is Trey's Unpopular Opinions on YouTube. I'm bringing up unpopular opinions. I just hate this Israelite stuff. I hate this spiritual-esque type of things. I think it has its place. It has its place once you've developed a firm foundation in the secular world, right? It's a bit contradictive. It's a bit weird when people who are broke start talking about how it's a sin to have money. And then it's a little weird when people say, "Oh, but God wants you to have money." You know, I don't know. I think I'm not as qualified to talk about this without actually listening to this stuff. So, AJ, you put me on something. I have some homework to do. I'll probably talk about this another time, you guys. But it's getting, I'm not saying late, but I didn't plan on streaming for long. Thanks for tuning in, AJ. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. Kings and Queens. Last thing to put a nail in the coffin on this, you guys. Kings and Queens. If you want to be a king or queen, read, educate yourself. Your family, more than likely, whoever's watching, more than likely, your family is not in any kind of position to be calling themselves nobility. Does that mean that you don't have the potential to be nobility? No. It just means you got to do the work. Humble yourself. People need to humble themselves a lot more. This king and queen mentality shit, I like it because it distracts people, makes people go the wrong way. More people are going to die. More people are going to lose their money chasing the wrong dreams, which is unfortunate. But if you try to teach them, if people are grown, right? People are grown at the end of the day. If you try to teach them the right way and they go the wrong way, I mean, there's only so much you can do, right? I hate to say this, but last thing, when you see a person drowning, you don't go in there to save them. What you do is you try to throw a life vest, throw something of buoyancy to help get them, but you don't go in there to go save them. You just don't do it, because they're going to continue to push your head down so that they can get some fucking air, and eventually what's going to happen is y'all both are going to drown, right? You're coming down with me. That's how it is, you guys. I know that because I've seen people drown. I'm not talking about in real life, but I've seen it at my jobs. The jobs that I've done, you guys, people, like, it's, anyways. With that being said, man, do better, stay better, keep going to the gym. I appreciate it.